Now, here we go with part 4. Okay, so the first quote is, "We don't want to have anything to do with you. We show you the door. Go out." But there's nothing, but there's no getting around you. In this situation, Sividroklov, I don't know his name. He was like trying to talk to Raskolnikov to try to let him get, like, I don't want to say get at because that's not the proper term, but like to get closer to Donya, I guess, in a way.
To like
And
build a relationship
yeah,
there.
and in this I think this fits with that men are conflicting elements because they're both arguing at each other. They won't let each other, like, they won't understand each other's perspective, and they have one certain mindset and they just want it to work in that way. So like they're just going at each other. They're not trying to like solve the problem of why they don't want that, you know.
Raskolnikov's point of view, he wasn't a good enough match for his sister, so I guess they were, well, not, I don't guess, but they were conflicted with each other.
As Chrissy was saying, you can like definitely tell how the male is a conflicting element. It just shows the stubbornness because they both have the same idea that Donya isn't going to marry the correct guy. But in another hand, I don't know how to say the main character's name. He doesn't want the other man to marry her. So it just shows the contrast between the two characters, how they have similar mindsets, but then again they collide.
Then the next quote is, "There are instances of it with everyone. Human beings in general, indeed, greatly love to be insulted. Have you noticed that? But it's particularly so with women. One might even say it's their only amusement." And I think this associates with the men and women roles. Do you want to say anything first, Julie, before I go?
Yeah. Okay, so this quote could definitely relate to now, to like modern day, even high school life, because like oftentimes you see that girls, they tend to fall for the guys who may not treat them the way they deserve to be treated, and others may see that as, oh, they like to be treated like that, they like to be, mistreated, or they like to be insulted. And that's usually, I mean, that's not technically the case, but others may view it that way. So that's how it could relate to now.
Yeah. So in my point of view, like according to the story, I think that Raskolnikov kind of thinks that I feel like he may think of women at like inferior to men because he believes that all women like to be insulted, and that's kind of like degrading them, I guess. So it's he it's he kind of puts him under him, I think, because he thinks it's okay to insult them, and he thinks that they like it and it's fine, but it's not. Many women don't like that, and it's not okay that he generalizes women in that way. I don't know if that makes sense. So yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
I strongly disagree with the main character because not every woman likes to be, judged and insulted. Probably no woman likes to be judged and insulted. And to generalize a sex, it's just, as Chrissy said, it's degrading and it's unfair because what if it was the male's position and they were the ones being insulted? It's not a pleasant feeling, and the male should not degrade the women. They act superior, but in reality they're not. And I strongly disagree with that idea.
Next quote. "He's no match for Avdyata Romanovna." I don't even know if that was even said right. Whatever. "I believe Avdyata Romanovna is sacrificing herself generously and imprudently for the sake of her family." Do you want to say? Oh, I think it relates to the theory of Nietzsche's Superman. But I'll explain. Do you want to say anything first, Julie?
No, you can go ahead.
Okay. So I was gonna say, even though it's not like the Superman theory relates kind of to a man, but in my point of view, I think it could. Avdiata is kind of like that Superman, I guess. I mean, she doesn't necessarily think of herself as maybe someone like a super being, but she uses what she has, like her beauty, like her intelligence, to put herself in a situation that
her advantage.
yeah, to put herself in a situation that she doesn't want to for the sake of her family.
Yeah.
So she's putting her family before herself. So she's trying to help those around her, or those dearest to her.
Like, yeah, I feel like that does go for the topic, because I mean, like, the Superman basically is somebody who puts others before them. Somebody who is interested, well, not interested, but somebody who is, I guess, cares more about the needs of others, and is willing to do anything, like, do whatever it takes, even if it's, making sacrifices.
Yeah.
And that's basically what she's doing. She's making sacrifices for the good of the people she loves.
Yeah, and I don't think it necessarily had to be a man, even though I guess the theory was referring to men. But I mean, I guess in this situation, it could have been a woman.
I agree and disagree with Julie's and Christy's, comments and their ideas towards the Superman theory, because Nietzsche, I don't know his name, his idea, it basically says that a Superman is a person that rationalizes for themselves. The importance is for themselves. They are, in other words, selfish, and they use their abilities for their own good. She is she is a Superman because she does sacrifice for others, but it sort of contradicts to his idea. But I do understand where they're coming from, and she is an amazing woman for putting herself through that position just to help out her family.
So yeah, that's the end of part 4.